how we get our samples out of the barrel. Yummo. In 2013, we were very fortunate. Our Seven Sleepers Shiraz won the Best Young Red Wine of the Barossa Wine Show, and that's the highest reward we've received so far. The Barossa Wine Show trophies are very well sought after, and very nice decanter as well. I'm Steve Kurtz. Welcome to Kurtz Family Vineyards in the Barossa Valley. We started up first making wines in 1997. We grow mostly red grape varieties, Shiraz, Grenache, Mataro, and Petit Verdot and Malbec, Cabernet Sauvignon. So most of the more common red varietals that are grown in the Barossa Valley. We decided to change from just being grape growers to making wines because we knew the quality of our fruit was so good and the opportunity to share it with people was just too good for us. So that first year, I think most of that wine we drank ourselves and with friends, but we knew that we were on the right track. So we've started from very small and now growing to where we can supply all our friends all over the world. Soils are quite sandy and very free draining. We grow a mid-row cover crop here, as you can see, down in between the rows, so that the wind doesn't blow the sand away. Fruit here goes into our Seven Sleepers red blend, which is taken into China. Wine stays in barrel from 24 to 30 months, giving it a chance to soften and mature, go to bottle, and from there out, it goes out through to the domestic and international market. So the first wine that I'd like to show you is our Kurtz Family Vineyards Seven Sleepers Red Blend. This wine is named after one of our German traditions of Siebenschläfer, which translates to seven sleepers. And basically that is the weather that you get on the 27th of June is the weather that you'll get predominantly for the next 7 weeks. So it's just one of the German folklore that we follow here in the Barossa. As you'd be aware, the German tradition is very strong in the Barossa Valley. The name Kurtz is German for short, is what it stands for. And we're very proud of that heritage, and we try and continue to use that wherever we can. Boundary Row range we make is, we do a Grenache Shiraz Mataro, which again, ideally suited to food. We do a straight Shiraz, and we're introducing a Cabernet Shiraz blend out of the 2016 vintage shortly. The wines are grown at a slightly reduced cropping rate compared to, say, what for the Seven Sleepers, and probably maybe at 5 or 6 tonne per hectare, so very minimal tonnage. We don't use a lot of irrigation, and we're quite careful to grow the best possible fruit that we can to make the best possible wine that we can. I'd also like to take the opportunity to show you our pinnacle wine, which is the Luna Block Shiraz. This vineyard was purchased by my parents on July 20th, 1969, which was the day that Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, as you may remember. And my mum called it Luna Block the very day that she purchased it. They then planted those vines. So the vines were planted in 1969, and it represents some of the oldest fruit that we have. And it's a wine that we're very, very proud of, has a very strong show history, has won gold medals at the Barossa Wine Show in previous years, and very, very limited amounts, less than 300 litres of this wine are made in most years. So it's basically one barrel and a brand new French oak, and it's highly sought after. you'll always have vintage variation, and I guess that's the beauty of young vineyard of dealing with individual vineyard wine. There have been some very wet years that has issues of its own. Mm-hmm. There's been some very dry years that has issues of its own, and there's also been some very hot years which again have create issues of their own, but none of them are generally insurmountable. And I go back to my point about the Barossa. The reason why it has such a good reputation is because year in, year out, it's seen to grow really, really good fruit. And there's been advances in technology that help you combat some of these weather influences. But the majority of times, I would say that whilst the weather affects the overall style of the wine, the weather's generally not the biggest issue that you face in the Barossa. It's very consistent. We're generally pretty lucky that if you have an issue of some sort, there is somebody that you can just quickly ring up or get to come and have a look and help you out. So from a networking point of view, Barossa in particular, but the Australian wine industry in general is very cooperative and they help each other a lot. It's not a particularly closed shop. I'm sure everyone has their own little secrets that of what they do, whether that be in the vineyard or in the winery, that they might well keep to themselves. But if you pick up any wine growing or grape growing or winemaking magazine, that's available in Australia, the information is always there. People, if you ask, will generally tell you. So it's, from that point of view, it's not a particularly closed shop. It's actually very good. From a marketing point of view, we actual hands-on visits are out of the question and probably will be for a little while. We're looking at the use of technology and marketing people like yourselves to get our story out to the world. Hopefully the trade borders will remain open and relatively hassle-free, and we can get on with the business of selling wine back overseas. Domestically, we concentrate on our mail order listing, and we love for people to come and visit us and have the opportunity to show them our wines. So that's always an option as well. But no, I think we just sit and wait and wait for the world to reopen, basically. That's the sad thing about all of this, is that it has it has closed things down to a degree. But look, I think people will always drink. I think that's pretty much a given, and I guess we just have to keep making the best wine we possibly can for the best price we possibly can to give people the value for money that I think certainly I believe our wines give value for money, or bang for your buck, as we say in Australia. And I think that's the best way to attack the whole situation. Domestically, we have our own website with our own shopping cart, and we sell wine direct to consumer. We also like to support our retail customers as well, the independent bottle shops and whatnot. So it's a fine balance between supporting the people who've looked after you, but you need to be able to get your wine in front of your customer. And that doesn't matter whether that's in Australia or China. As for the actual method of how we do that, I'd probably leave that to greater minds than my own, because I like growing grapes and making wine. So but we're open to all methods of selling wine, and certainly there seems to be a lot of activity on the online market, people not necessarily having to leave their house, and they can still buy wine from anywhere in the world basically, and have it delivered within quite a short period of time. So yes, of course we're interested in that side of the business too.